What's going on, ladies and gents? Welcome to Collectors Gone Digital. My name's Josh, and today's episode marks part 2 of our 3-part series. Now, huge shout out to Klim from Big Shot. He's been kind enough to do a giveaway for one of his physical blind box collectibles called the 𝗙𝗵𝗍. So if you guys are interested in a chance to win, make sure to follow him and I over on X, link down below. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and also make sure to share the video to help spread the word. You have a chance of getting one of 4 rarities, and the winner will be announced in part 3. Best of luck to everyone who enters, and again, Klim, a big thank you for the collectible. Without further ado, grab a drink, grab a snack, sit back, relax, and enjoy.
This is where digital collectibles are important, right? Like, I live in Asheville, North Carolina, and we got hit by a hurricane 3 months ago.
Oh, I'm sorry
right?
to hear that.
So we had 4 feet of water in my basement. That's just me, right? We had water and like, yeah, great. Tons of toys and boxes of like old shit that I was just storing that wasn't like cool enough, or like I didn't give a shit enough about to store in my upstairs office, or wasn't like close and dear to me, to my heart, to have like open on display in my office like here. It was just down in the basement, so it got lost. It was water damage. But then you kind of start to realize, like, well, shit, you know, if this was an NFT, what would that look like, right? And how do you connect the physical and the digital components to merge the two things 10 years from now, 20 years from now? You know, and that's kind of what's been on my mind for the past few years, is how do you merge the physical and digital? The other convos with some of the digital collectible companies that I've been having is like, why can't all of these things be interactive and animated? Why can't I have a fully functioning, animated, AI-powered Furby-like creature hanging out in my office for me to play with, right?
Can I ask what their answers are? Because I've always wondered that, why certain collectibles aren't animated or as well.
Because all of that data has to get stored someplace. So
harder on the phone.
Harder on, like, did you see Westworld season 3?
No.
Or season 2? Like, it's an HBO series about like all the robots in the future. Like, at the end of that season 2 or season 3, they're basically like fighting the robots in like this fucking data storage facility that is basically like built inside of the Hoover Dam, because that's the kind of energy you need to cool all of those computers, right? And like when you start to think about it, it's like where's all this stuff stored? Like, it's not just like up in space. Mm-hmm. It's like it's in a facility that's like giant, you know, cool climate controlled warehouses that are running like thousands of these, you know, NVIDIA chips. Like, oh yeah, like, you know, like I'm taking pictures of my freaking food and it's stored up in the cloud. It's not like up in the cloud. It's someplace on the machine, and it needs to be accessible all the time, and you can't lose it. Because imagine all of a sudden like a bunch of people just lose all their cloud data. But that's why all of these things can't be animated. That's why all these things can't be running around talking to you and keeping track of your daily calendars, because right now there is no tech. There's no tech available that's consumer friendly that everybody can use. The unboxing stuff, that takes data. I want to do robust unboxing experiences for all of my shit. Like, I want Nounish friends to come in little apartments. So like when you buy the toy, the box digitally unfolds and it becomes like a little house.
Right.
It has all of the stuff for each character individually. But then, you know, Frank's that was like a lot of convos that Frank and I had privately, is, you know, he's like, yeah, man, this is great, but who the fuck pays for that? Like he's like, you can sit down and develop the character, you can develop the room, you can have one of your guys sculpted and have one of your other guys animated, and it's going to cost you, you know, $5-10 grand to do each figure, have, you know, with these interactions and animations. But like, who the fuck pays for it on a company side?
Right.
what company can do this, and then how does it go back to the consumer? Like, how does the consumer pay for it? I was able to animate all of my characters on VeVes because I just really want to be on VeVe. Like, I'm trying to build brands. Like, I don't even know what the financial return is going to be on that sellout collection at the moment. Like, I didn't even do those calculations because
Right.
I wanted to just be on the platform, because I know that once people see what I'm doing and get familiar with what it is that I actually do, it'll open up a lot more
Yep.
doorways. Because like, I have tons of characters, right? It's like we have like tons of toys, right, that are also fully animated, available in multiple formats, everything from like tiny little minifigures to that are also like animated. So like I want to build stories and worlds, and I want to park my wagon in a place that'll let me do all of the things that I kind of want to do. And
But this is why I had to ask you the question about Frank, because you are reminding me of him. I don't know if you know the exact like panel I'm talking about, but he spoke with Jermaine Rogers at a DCon. I want to say it was either 2022, but he was talking exactly about what you were saying. Like,
yeah, it was probably 2022. I was busy with my booth.
Okay.
Yeah.
But he was talking about the first stage of him creating the toy, but then giving the toy to the end user to create the final scene, and it's just it's everything that you're talking about here. So.
Well, he wanted to do that with the 𝗕𝗵𝗵 and all of the enemies, right? He wanted to have them, like we were talking about that stuff as we were designing the actual toy before VeVe, right? When we were designing the toy, it's like, it'd be fucking great if this toy had enemies, but then also like you can transform the packaging into buildings, right?
Yeah.
So you can do like like battles, and then when you look at what's possible with a platform like VeVe, right, where you take your collectible and you could just shoot missiles, right? You can, like, I can jump into a virtual play space with you, and you can be the kaiju guy and I could be the robot guy, and we'll, basically it's like you just have like little sandboxes, and you can do like little arena combat fights where new fighters enters the ring, whatever, and it's like all your friends can watch.
The content comes from it.
Bet money on it, and like that. That's kind of like where that's where my head is at. So like that has like that page, like the first panel has all our corporate stuff. Then the other stuff has like more of the advertising agency work. Then it has the Web3 and digital collectibles that we've done, and then the IP incubator is like still in progress, but that's like all of my original stuff. But
trains.
Yeah, those are trains that they're 20 years old this year. Last month, basically they're blank subway cars that artists paint. And over the past 20 years, we've had multiple artists from all over the world. Pretty much everybody. I think like the only one artist that haven't done one has been like 𝗐𝗲.
I love these.
Yeah,
these are very cool.
I have some photos of like pieces that Frank did, or that were fucking insane. Like, in order for people to really understand the value of a digital collectible as not just a valuable asset that you can then pass on to your kids, right? Because it's like the people that got like that Bart Simpson skateboard, or like that Homer choking out Bart, like the Simpsons aren't going anyplace. The Simpsons are going to be around 10 years from now, 20 years from now, long after we're dust, right? Simpsons are going to, like, as long as the media survives, Simpsons are going to be around. The fact that nobody's, like, Disney's not allowing Homer to choke up Bart anymore, like, that's a really key moment. And like, I don't know what that's going to worth. I don't know what that's worth now, but the fact that you can pass that on to your kid, that kid can pass it on to their kid, or the fact that, I might create like a cool piece of artwork, sell it on chain, and then somebody else sells it on chain. And all of a sudden it's like, I do something with my career that blows up and people are like, oh shit, this guy's work is amazing. And then it's like, people discover that I did a bunch of drawings of like cats, like my first NFTs. And like, all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, these things are going for bajillions of dollars. I might not even be alive.
Yeah.
Right. But that wallet will still be collecting revenue. So it's like, those are the kinds of things that need to get explained to the general population. Like Mumbot's, like we had a convo, because I'm also part of the Ghost Club that she runs. So like we always have like spaces inside of the Discord, which is, like another thing that the VeVe community should come join too. Okay. Because it's a space where like artists can just hang, draw, shoot the shit, have their camera open, show what they're doing. Like, eventually that's the other thing too about, digital collectibles is in 10 years, 20 years, definitely, maybe not 10 years, but in 20 years, we're all going to have like a refrigerator sized 3D printer in our house that can print anything you want. Like literally, like everything in your house is going to be digitized and tokenized. Everything in the civilized world is going to be tokenized. This whole digital collectible thing is just like the tip of the iceberg, because they're just tokens that show that you bought something. Mm-hmm. So after the flood, when all the shit in my basement got lost, like I drive down the street, there's like my entire town's like a huge part of it's just completely washed away, just destroyed, flat, nothing there. Like hundreds of artists in the River Arts District lost everything. It's just insane. So imagine you can experience that artwork. You have it. You could have physicals in your house, but then if it's destroyed, you can, for a small fee, reprint it again, because the blockchain knows that you bought it. Right. So you bought that, you bought that Ron English collectible, and you have a physical and you have a digital receipt for it. So just imagine like you have that collectible, mm-hmm. but it becomes like where the digital receipt is the collectible.
That's what I was just about to say. You're almost describing as if the digital is now becoming more important than the physical.
Yeah, dude. 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Because everything that we make, all of these physical things, right? All of these physical things, they're made out of freaking dead dinosaurs, man. It's all fossil fuel, plastics, it's all organic matter that after, like, if you take your vinyl toys, even the best ones, and if you kind of have them outside, like have them sitting in the sun, the color's going to fade after a month or 2 or 3 or 4. The color's going to fade. Mm-hmm. If you have them, if the stuff isn't made certain ways, the plastics are going to start biodegrading and the shit's just going to start gooping. When David showed me the DeLorean that you can drive, this is like fucking, I think it was like the first test of it. He's like, don't show this. He's like, he like, we were talking about the future, right? And it's like, he shared, I forget if it was the DeLorean or the Batmobile. And I was just like, wait, like my brain just, like I could not compute what I was looking at, because visually, like you could sit inside the Batmobile and like you could do all the things, right? Yep. But it's like, how do you use that? What do you do with it? Like, there isn't, like, nobody inside of VeVe, nobody inside of any of these projects, any of these digital collectible companies, any of these collectible companies or video game studios has shown a use case of how all of this works for regular people. Nobody, like, you can't really go and buy another cause skin for your Fortnite character, or like you can't buy another.
I want the skin so badly.
Oh, I was like,
cause so badly in Fortnite. I say it from time to time.
yeah, I was like, yeah, shit, I should like sign up for Fortnite just to buy that.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, whatever. But like when I see people playing it, it's like, man, that's a good one. You know, but it's like there hasn't been like an effort to like educate the not the industry, but it has been an effort by the industry to educate the end consumer of why this is cool and why they should care. And I think that's coming. I think like Pudgy Penguins are doing a pretty good job on that in a lot of ways. Yeah. So like one of the things that people don't really realize is that I'm an artist too, right? It's just that in a lot of cases, my art is taking other people's work and turning it into film. Like that's like my superpower, is like taking somebody's idea or somebody's sketch and turning it into a physical thing. But I also like I have tons of my own IP and tons of my own work that I'm constantly developing. Now my development process is still very collaborative. So like I come up with the idea generally on my own. Usually, you know, it's like all, you know, like usually it's like usually it's like it's just sketchbooks.
Oh, nice.
You know, it's just like, it's all like pretty much like robots and, you know, like cute animal characters. But usually like I just develop stuff like this, and I have like dozens of these books. I fill them up every month. So like I take these concepts, and then I have like a small team of artists and designers that I work with, that I kind of pass the sketches on to them. Then they do like 3D models or mock-ups of the stuff. Then we sort of like jump into like, you know, real-time calls, and we go over what it looks like. We make edits and changes, and it just kind of, it's a process from there.
Cool.
So yeah, so I'm you know, I'm an artist and I'm a designer, but it's nobody ever wants to see my version of the Predator or whatever. You know, it's kind of like I was always able to do fun shit because I was able to collaborate with artists. Like I never got to design a Wonder Woman figure, but I got to work with 𝗕𝗵𝗵 on hers, right? I got to work at Kidrobot. I got to work with Brant Peters and develop his Harley Quinn figure into a 3D figure, right? So, you know, and with Frank, it's like never in a million freaking years would I think that I would ever get to do a Frazetta piece, right? But then I work with Frank on the Labbit Death Dealer, right? And the Labbit Barbarian figures. And, you know, pretty much got to fulfill that in a really fun way. So it's like much like I'm a designer, I'm an artist, and I take pride in my own work, and like my stuff is unique and weird and fun. And that's kind of like what I'm trying to bring to VeVe. And it's just, you know, it's just like some of these guys, you know, like super cute.
Awesome.
You know,
I like that piece a lot.
Yeah, this is like we have like a mini figure series.
Nice.
We have like Safubi that we made in Japan right before.
Made in Japan, wow.
Yeah, these are pretty sweet. And you know, then like if you go on the website, there's like a ton of stuff in our shop. It would make sense to have a, you know, like a private label collection or product line, or a shop that basically doesn't do licensed things. It just does like weird, cool shit that's never really sold out, or maybe sold out, but not so exclusive, where like if new people come in and they're like, oh man, I really wish I got this Donald Duck, but it's not available. You know, it's like you should just have a VeVe store with exclusive products that are only available on VeVe that aren't really Marvel or Disney. There isn't a tool, I don't think, available that's an official part of the VeVe app where you can learn more about VeVe in a way that is a freaking like 30-second elevator pitch. You know, it's like right now it's like cool graphs, and it's like, oh yeah, you get collections and they get Batmobile, but it's like it's got to be a little bit faster, easier to explain, where if it's somebody that's really excited and is somebody's like maybe at a ball game or at a bar that's just kind of like checking out whatever something, it's like, hey, what's that? And it's like, oh, here it is, and just explain it to them without sounding like a crazy person. Like how it would help an artist to have their artwork on chain. Like, oh, people are just going to copy, save it, paste it.
Right,
you know?
right click and save.
Like, oh, somebody's just going to copy my artwork, or it's like it's going to fed into AI. It's going to get fed into AI, or it's going to like do all this and that and another thing. And it's like, because it's on the blockchain, that's precisely why if it does get fed into any kind of AI, there's going to be a trail.
Exactly.
There's going to be a forensic trail for your artwork to the original creator. You know, Frank was a great brand ambassador for VeVe. I think that I can probably offer a lot of useful tools and information, and because of my relationship with so many of the artists already on VeVe, and because of my reputation of working with so many people and not being a piece of shit, basically just being honest, reliable, and not just giving people good advice and just helping them produce the best work with their IP. It's like I think that VeVe needs creative direction. Like I kind of felt that like the conversations that were happening with like Frank and Jermaine, myself, just because I was like working with Frank on stuff, it was just kind of like that was like where all the stuff could go.
Right.
But I don't know where it's going, because it's like there isn't like I just talked to David, and we don't really talk about whenever we do have short convos, like right now he's super busy, it's like usually just about nerdy shit. Like I was like, hey, did you see this? And he's like, oh my god, it's fucking awesome, and and it's like I share something that I worked on. He's like, I want this on VeVe. I'm like, give me some more information. Like, how do I make that happen? What would help this community grow, expand, and like really explode is teachable moments for new audiences that showcase use cases outside of crypto. We've done like Wendy's kids meals and stuff like that, and like eventually, like there's going to be no more the toys with food purchases at any of these fast food places. Right. It's all going to be a digital collectible. Yep. So like if let's say McDonald's did a promotion with VeVe, just like they did a promotion with Doodles. Yep. Right? So, but there was let's say it was either like a VeVe original collectible series, right? Maybe like let's just say Nounworks Friends, right? If Nounworks Friends were at McDonald's as a collectible series, there's some artwork on the cups, but then your toy surprise is a digital toy, because like the kid's gonna just like eat the burger, play with the toy for a second, throw it in the car. Like just like when you play with Roblox toys, you get the code, you throw the toy in the garbage. You just play digital toy. So it's like you get your Happy Kids meal, and then you have like a little Nounworks Friend character that you can play with, and you just all of a sudden you're in the space. You have a racing car, right? You have like a little robot that you can drive, interact with other friends, customize them. It's like that's that's how you bring more people into VeVe that don't really give a shit about NFTs or blockchain. It's just like, oh, you get a toy on my iPad. What David and the team are doing is really smart, which is they're talking to all the blockchains. They're dealing with Coinbase. They're making sure that all this shit is verified. Because like when the floodgates are going to open, and there's that McDonald's moment, right, where everybody's like, oh shit, that's what you do with digital collectibles. Where like Christmas 2025, you go to freaking Christmas Town inside of the VeVe app, and you could just buy toys online that you could play with digitally, and maybe order them directly shipped to you through Amazon. It's like just when, what was it, like 10 years ago? How many years ago was it when people like, I'm not fucking spending money online to get a toy. I want to go to Toys R Us. So it's like all that stuff is happening, all that stuff is coming, and all that stuff is gamified and is digital. So it's like this is like, for me, it's like that's where all of the excitement's happening. It's just there isn't a way to talk about it. People are like, oh shit, you get a Doodles cup at McDonald's. Like, it's just a cup. Like, it would have been kind of cool if with the cup you got like a character to play with. Those are like the moments where you're like, just like right now, it's like Bitcoin hit $100,000, you know, and people are like, holy shit, Bitcoin, what the fuck is that? Like, I have tons of characters. I'd be more than happy to just drop them free, you know, just to have that entry point, because what's free today is going to be, you know, free with purchase tomorrow, and then it's going to be like its own thing. It's like you get a motorcycle or a car or a little house.
Right.
So it's like but it's like somebody needs to do that, and you know, I think that this is like the perfect place for it, because I don't know how many VeVe holders actually have kids, but what I've seen with VeVe, what I've seen with Nouns, it's like when Nouns holders or like Nouns community people like get these little toys, or they like when they see their kids' reactions when they play with these things, that's a sale right there. It's like basically, it's like when you're a parent, like when my son was little, like he was like 1, right? You didn't know what the fuck Star Wars was. Like, I went and I bought Star Wars play sets from Play School, like really cute deformed ones. I was like, oh yeah, like my kid's gonna be super into Star Wars and we're gonna play with these lightsabers. And so like for a parent to just be able to share their fandom with their kid, that's a moment that is rare, and that is repeatable, and that just builds bonds, families, experiences that last way beyond your lifespan. So like all of a sudden, you like each one of these little stupid digital collectibles is a fucking time capsule of experiences, right?
I love that. Wow.
And like a lot of this shit, it's like this particular thing that I just mentioned, it's like I've been thinking about it for years, right? Because my brother-in-law passed away from ALS, and he's got like two little boys, right? And he was basically just like, as he was struggling and suffering and dying, you know, he was leaving messages for his boys that my sister shares with them now, right? You know, it's like, happy birthday, you're 14. Like happy birthday, like, you know, it's like happy birthday, you're 10, right? It's like it's just like, so this is like where all of this digital collectible digital world change of perspective is happening in real time. It's just like the use cases haven't been proven out yet. The problem is like the tech people in this space, they're either so isolated that they don't know how to talk to humans, right? They're like, it's just basically just like, bring out the GIMP, you know, like from freaking Pulp Fiction, where it's like it's like some dude comes out, like does a bunch of buttons, numbers, and it's like all of a sudden this magical code, you know, and it's like they're so isolated from regular civilians or creators that there's very little interaction. Like whenever I've had interactions with developers and coders who are like really brilliant, it's like I'm just like, hey, can you do this? They're like, oh yeah, super easy. I'm just like, what the fuck? You just like, I've been thinking about this for a year. You just did it in 2 seconds. Like, yeah, it's super easy. But it's like, he didn't think about that.
They're in their own bubble.
Yeah. So the problem is, again, it's like, there is no blue sky incubation really happening in this space, or it is, it just isn't visible because ideas spread like wildfire, right? Like all you have to do is just say, you know, Smurf, whatever, right? And people are like, oh shit.
Right.
And now it's so insane because you can have a conversation with somebody and then you get off the phone with them and then you could just type something into ChatGPT and then generate a bunch of artwork, and then 5 minutes later you have a fully viable product for something that you know the other person is just thinking about.
Yeah.
So it's like trying to figure out like what was real and what was not is becoming very, very difficult. So trying to find any sort of truth about what it is that you're like actually trying to find out about. And then it's like robots talking to robots.
It's getting scary. It's getting scary. Yeah.
I mean, it's funny because like I'm on a Warpcast, right? And there's like all these people talking about like Clanker, which is like a robot coin builder, right? And like the developer was asleep, and Clanker talked to another robot, and they both minted, like they created a coin together or something like that. It was something like really weird. Like one bot talked to another bot, and they decided they minted a coin. And the developer woke up and it was like a $50 million market cap.
Get out of here. What?
Yeah. It was something like super wacky.
That's crazy.
I think it was like Clanker, which is the name of the bot. Yeah, no, like I definitely, like, I'm super excited. I definitely want to, interact more with the community where possible, and just definitely, start figuring out what we're gonna do with the second series of Nounworks Friends, because like those guys, like that's ready, because the collection was 12 pieces and a couple of extra surprises. So you just need to figure out what we're gonna do with the other 6. Yeah, also, we've got a ton of like, if people want holiday gifts, we've got a bunch of toys that are weird and strange in our shop.
Perfect. But no, I'm gonna stream here, so
Cool.
I really appreciate the time and all the info. It means a lot, especially considering your experience in the space and your connections. It's an honor. So